Welcome to TalkersOfGeeks.com. Justin here, back with more video game reviews, and today we are going to be reviewing Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection. Yes, I'm finally getting around to it. Finally played enough of it to talk about it. As always, I give you a brief synopsis, so without further ado, here we go. Play the classic Star Wars Battlefront games on modern consoles, online and offline, in its complete classic collection. This classic collection includes Star Wars Battlefront Classic, includes bonus maps Jabba's Place. Star Wars Battlefront 2 includes bonus maps Bespin, Cloud City, Renvar Harbor, Renvar Citadel, and Yavin. 4 arenas include Battle Heroes and more. Traverse through the galaxy in campaign mode and galaxy conquest. Devise your strategy, recruit your troops, and execute your tactical visions for conquering the galaxy. Massive locations, up to 64 player online support. Found on the ground, wiki warriors, jet troopers, droidguns, and more massive multiplayer action. Now, let me just talk a little bit about the campaign mode, because if you're going in this, first of all, for the campaign mode, you're not going to be disappointed, especially with Battlefront 2. That story with the 501 first is so freaking good. I love that campaign mode. Really gets you to really look at from the perspectives of the clones, and especially when they're alluding to the rise of the Empire when it comes to Order 66 and how that went down. It's a really gripping story there, especially when you hear in the voice of the clones of, like, man, when it's time for Order 66, we made sure that the deaths were quick and things like that. It's a really good campaign mode, and that, I will have to say, is the positive about this collection. I do not know, folks, what happened here. I am so disappointed here. The controls feel more clunkier than it did in the PS2 era. We have to talk about the online, and for some reason, from the gameplay mechanics, they have like this auto aim too, which you can turn off, like, or aim assist, I should say. But I feel like the modifications that they did here kind of made the game a little bit worse. It just comes from the performance wise as well. It's like the controls a little bit clunky. Frame rate dropped a little bit, especially online as well. I'm pretty sure you've heard so many YouTubers talking about the online here. But the campaign mode, for the most part, I will say it did run pretty fair. Right now, what you're seeing is Battlefront 1. It did run pretty well, and I really, like, campaign-wise, I can't really complain. It's more of the online play where people are really saying, like, this game really dropped the ball, and they really did. I did like the fact that just like the original, you got the first person and third person perspective. Highly recommend you play it in the third person though, because first person at times, like I said, I got a little bit of a stutter here, and this is reviewed on my PS5. But for me, what really makes this disappointing is the fact that the online play is just it's really just not good, folks. There is like times in here where I was playing online and I couldn't even get in. I seriously could not get in. Seriously couldn't get in, and it was like 64, and the way in the rooms are just like, it feels so limited compared to new iterations of Battlefront, and it was just like 64 rooms. Most of the rooms are locked. Most of the rooms sometimes you couldn't even get into, and when you do get into it, like, there was times that I was pressing X to, like, spectate, and I couldn't even spectate the match, and I was in there. Like, the rooms were full at times, and then it took a while sometimes to even get into a session. And I just don't know. Like, it was just like right here. You have to auto assign. You can't really choose. It's like I'm pressing spectate right now, and I can't spectate. It was just so frustrating, and it's crazy because this game is old, so I don't know how they dropped the ball with this, especially knowing that so many Star Wars fans and people who have heard about this game were going to go in there. Now, this is actually my online footage here when I finally got in after, like, I would want to say at least 45 minutes trying to get into a game. And I couldn't. And once I got in online, I had a little bit of chance to actually get in there, but then I got kicked out, or the game crashed when I was particularly playing. This might just been an isolated incident, so I'm just gonna put a pin on that. Could have been an isolated incident with this, but I got kicked out, or the frame rate dropped, or I had some stuttering here, and it just wasn't fun to play. It really wasn't. And not to mention, is it just me, or the sound musically wise, I could barely hear my music, and I had my surround sounds on. I had it blasting. It just seems like even I had the music settings all the way up, and the game just seems like the music was so low compared to the original version. I have no idea what that was about, but like I said, those things could be an isolated incident. But I honestly, unfortunately, cannot recommend this at full price. If you're curious about checking this out, and if you're a Star Wars fan or a collector like me, you definitely gotta wait for this one on sale. And I'm hoping things get patched up. I'm hoping things improve, especially with frame rate, the way online matchmaking, because this is what we all come to Battlefront for. This is too much of a classic game for the new generation not to see why we played this game for hours and hours on end. My final thoughts: I'm gonna be giving Battlefront Classic Collection. I'm gotta give this a C minus. I mean, the campaign mode is fine. It's doable. It's serviceable. But the online play is what you're really going for. And right now, it's just not up to par. Maybe at the time of this review, it did patch up, but we'll see what happens. This is Justin from MatacosTheGeeks.com. If you like what we do here, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I'll catch you on the next one. What did you think of Star Wars Battlefront Collection? Yes, no, maybe so. Or are you gonna go back to it? Let's talk about it in this comment section. And unfortunately, the Force wasn't strong with this one. Later days.